Hey girls and guys, welcome back to another object lesson video. So glad that you are here to join with me again in learning something more about how God loves us and how God cares about us. Hope you're having a great day. It's been a beautiful last couple of days. Try to get outside as much as you can while the weather's really nice and good, and it's a great time to go out and celebrate being outside and thank God for His creation. I mean, it's pretty amazing. And so, man, be sure you're checking that out. It's an awesome day to be alive. All right, so have fun with it. But right now, I want to talk to you about this kind of really cool phrase in the Bible. You hear it a lot in the Old Testament, and it's this: it's old and full of years. And the Old Testament used that phrase to describe a lot of people who were way up in their years. They were ready to sort of cross over into heaven, and they were coming to the end of their time on earth, but they lived a really long time. It's as an example, both Abraham and Isaac, it said, God says to them in Genesis that they were both old and full of years and had lived a good and full life. In the whole Bible, there was one guy who lived longer than anybody else, and he was the oldest and the fullest of years, and his name was Methuselah. Well, he lived to be, I'll just show you. First, I have this glass, and this glass will represent Methuselah, okay? And then I'm gonna pour some water into the glass, and then we're gonna add the pennies, so I'm gonna show you that. Okay, so we've got the camera set up a little bit closer here. So I'm gonna take the water, and I'm gonna pour the water into the cup, into the glass, and we're gonna fill this glass all the way up to the very, very tippy top of this glass. Okay. So pour the water. So this is like Methuselah getting older and fuller and older and fuller, and so you kind of get the picture. He was filling up with these years. Now, that is old and full of years, but Methuselah wasn't done. So we have these pennies here, and so I'm gonna let each one of the pennies stand for a year. So let's find out how many years Big M lived. Okay, so we've got one in there added to this, two. And we can just keep adding these pennies in, and it just keeps on going, and we're gonna just fill up this glass as many of the pennies as we can until the water overflows. So we've keep going here, and we'll just keep filling up the pennies and keep adding more in, and just think of each one of these pennies as an additional year to Methuselah's life. And I mean, he lived a really, really long time, and God blessed him with the longevity of life. I don't know, do you know exactly how long Methuselah lived? Have you read that story about his life? He's not mentioned a ton in the Bible, but we do know that he lived in the Old Testament, and that he lived for a very, very long time. In fact, he's the oldest living person that we know of in the Bible. So we're just gonna keep adding some pennies on here. I mean, at some point you would think that this water might just overflow. I don't know. We're just gonna have to keep going and adding a year at a time. We've probably added 30 or 40 pennies already. It just keeps on going. And the water just keeps filling up. And do you think we're gonna get it to overflow? I don't know. Let's see if I can get the rest of these pennies and see if we can get this. It may just stay right where it's at. Look at this. I mean, that was a full glass, and yet here we are. And the water is finally starting to overflow just a little bit, right? But it's interesting to see how many more we can add in before it really starts to go over. Oh, it's close. It's so close. Oh, now we start to see the water begin to pull over. So, well, Methuselah just kept going and going and going, and man, he was like an Energizer old man, like the Energizer bunny, right? So it's really crazy how old he lived. Do you know what it is? Okay, I'm gonna tell you in just a sec. All right, so Methuselah, he lived to be 969 years old. Isn't that crazy that he lived to be that long, almost 1,000 years old? You know, and therein lies the message for us today. Since nobody's going to ever live to be over 900 years old again, at least in our present time and in our world, in our space, no one's ever going to break the record of the oldest living person that we know of, which was Methuselah. He is going to hold that record for all eternity, for at least for while we lived here on earth. For us, the main thing is not how we fill up our life with years or how long we live, but it's how we fill our lives up with the years that we have. What are we doing? And so my encouragement to you is that we put God first in everything that we do, that we allow him to fill us up with this full life. And so when it comes time for us to pass from this earth and into eternity, the thing that can be said about us is that we were old and full of years, and that God blessed our lives because we made sure that we put God first in everything that we did. And so then when we look back, we will know how full of a life that we lived. And so that's important, guys and girls. I mean, right now you're young and you've got a lot of life left in front of you, and God will bless you with that, hopefully, and you'll see amazing things happen in your lifetime. You know, when I think about life, I had a great-grandmother. My great-grandmother lived to be 101 years old. She was born in the late 1800s, and she lived until the late 90s, 1990s. And she saw so many things. When she was a little girl, she traveled across the country in a covered wagon. Because they didn't have automobiles. They still had horses and wagons and buggies and things like that. And so she saw the innovation of automobiles and the invention of automobiles. She saw the invention of airplanes. She saw the invention of telephones. She saw the inventions of radios, of television, of computers. She saw the development of rockets and sending men to the moon. She saw the development of the home computer. I mean, she saw so many different things in her lifetime. And she was blessed and full of years. And that's how we want to be able to live our life. We'll see so many different things in our lives. The innovations that I've seen in my lifetime have been amazing. And so what we do with our life and how we fill it is what's important. And if we put God first in all of the things that we do, we will be able to say we've lived a full life, and it was full and it was awesome. All right, so you have a great day. Enjoy it again. Like I said earlier, man, get outside and enjoy the beautiful weather, and have a good week, and we will see you on the next video.